If you have razor sharp hearing, or if you were paying close attention during Ant-Man and the Wasp, you might have noticed that Ava, who's the ghost, her father is Elihas Starr. That name may have sounded familiar to you if you are a Marvel comic book fan like I am. And I'm going to explain to you why it sounds familiar and why this could possibly mean something in the future. I'm Tessa with mamasgeeky.com. So in the Marvel comic books, Elihas Starr is also known as Egghead. He's like a super smart guy who's a government employee, and he got fired for like espionage and just kind of being a douchebag, right? So when he got fired by the government, he decided that he was going to be a criminal mastermind, as most geniuses do when they get burned by the government or S.H.I.E.L.D. or something along those lines, right? In the Marvel Universe. He created a device to help himself communicate with ants. Sounds a little familiar, right? Well, he wanted the ants to betray Hank Pym, the original Ant-Man. And you know what? It didn't work. The ants kind of made him think they were going to betray Hank, and then of course they didn't. They betrayed Egghead, Elihas Starr. So in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ava, Ghost, talks a little bit to Hank about her father. She says that he worked alongside him in S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hank kind of screwed him over and he got fired, and he continued to do his research on his own until there was an explosion and he died. If you're paying attention, Hank a little later kind of just backhandedly mentions, no, that's not true. Bill Foster has been feeding lies to Ava. What really happened is he stole my technology. In the comic books, at one point, Egghead, he captures the Wasp, and he tries to get Hank by, I think there's like an iguana, and there's all sorts of crazy things that he tries to do, but of course he ultimately fails over and over and over in hurting Hank, Ant-Man. We see a lot of him just trying to seek revenge on Ant-Man in the comic books. That's kind of his thing. We even see him go up against Scott Lang's Ant-Man when he attacks him at his trial. At one point in the comics, there's an explosion and you think he dies, and he didn't even die. So is that something that we might see him in the future? Is it possible? I mean, it did kind of look like he was dead, and maybe it was just a fun nod to the comics, but maybe we're going to see Egghead in the future. That would be pretty cool. Especially since Egghead, I mean, he kills Hawkeye's brother, right? He causes the death of Hawkeye's brother. Now, we really don't know much about Hawkeye's brother in the movies at all in the MCU. However, I have had this theory for a while that something is going to happen to Hawkeye to make him turn into Ronin, right? It's going to cause him to go down a dark road, and that's who we're going to see in Avengers 4. We've seen a lot of set visit photos that have him, you know, he's in a darker costume than we see him in the other Avengers movies. I've thought maybe it's his family. Maybe they turn to dust after the snap heard around the world. Who really knows? But if Egghead somehow something happens with him and maybe Hawkeye's brother or family, maybe he kills Hawkeye's family, that would be a reason for Hawkeye to become Ronin. In the comic books, Egghead even creates the Yellow Jacket armor that Darren Cross wears. So we've already seen Yellow Jacket and we've already seen Darren Cross. So I don't think there'll be a connection there, but it was still really, really fun to hear his name and see him in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Along the way, Egghead teams up with a lot of bad guys. He's in the Masters of Evil, a few different iterations of it. So I'm not sure we'll see much of him, but still, as a comic book fan, I loved hearing his name and seeing him in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Comment below, let me know what you think about Elihas Starr. Do you think this was just a name drop, or do you think we might see something in the possible future of the MCU? And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.